Well, I first encountered Meghan as a senior, and it was the last 10 weeks, so the final quarter of her senior year. She was a university citizen, let's put it that way. She was a person who obviously was a theater major, and that's why she was in my class, but she was also a major in international relations. She was a member of a sorority. She was a person who made use of campus and was a member of multiple communities. And that's what I remember most strongly is talking to a very dynamic senior who understood that her voice could contribute to a lot of conversations. You're hopeful that a person can graduate from college and realize their ambitions. If you look at Meghan's career, she has really made use of the platforms that she has had, right? So she has been outspoken as an advocate for women's rights. She has been committed to inclusion and diversity. And it's that social advocacy that I hope will continue and seems to be prepared. It seems like it will continue.
Come with me on a walking tour of where Meghan Markle went to college. For those of you who do not know, Meghan Markle was actually super legit before she met Harry. Meghan attended Northwestern University, which is located just north of Chicago. And it's ranked the 10th best school in the United States. She graduated with a major of theater and international studies, both of which she seems to be putting to great use. How much time do we think the future Duchess spent in this library? Here's the field where I assume Meghan played ultimate frisbee with her chums. It's clear Meghan always had royal taste. It's rumored that Meghan used to frequent a Burger King located just off campus, and clearly that manifestation worked. She was clearly destined for the royal life. Fun fact, did you know that Meghan Markle is actually a former sorority girl? Well, she is, and she was a Kappa Kappa Gamma while she's at Northwestern, and this was her sorority house. I wonder if she ever told the former queen about this. Northwestern is obviously very pleased that the now Duchess of Sussex attended the university, because their marketing is jammed with pictures of Meghan. Overall, Northwestern is a true 10 out of 10.
Oh, darling, if you thought we were wrapping this up, I need you to take a deep breath, have a seat, and clear the next 50 minutes, because we are just getting started. And before we go any further, let's put something to rest once and for all for those trolls still clinging to their baseless fantasy that Meghan didn't finish her studies at Northwestern University. Because that lie? Dead and buried. Northwestern didn't just issue a polite nod or a passing mention. No, love. They placed her portrait on the wall, permanently, right there in the visitor center, alongside legendary alumni like Stephen Colbert, Jason Wright, and George R.R. Martin. That's not a fluke, and it's certainly not decoration. That is formal academic recognition from one of the most prestigious universities in the United States. Meghan graduated with a double major in theater and international studies. She earned that degree with distinction, and went on to represent that institution with grace, talent, and fierce independence. So to the naysayers still parroting their tired little myths, Northwestern University just handed you your notice. The truth isn't up for debate anymore. It's been etched into history, framed in honor, and celebrated in stone. And guess what? That honor isn't coming down. Oh, honey, if you thought this was just about a portrait on a wall, you've missed the plot entirely. This is not about decoration. This is about truth reclaiming its rightful place in a world that tried so desperately to rewrite it. This is about a woman who was vilified because she refused to bow to silence. And now, her success holds up an uncomfortable mirror to the very institution that tried to chew her up and spit her out. Because while Meghan's legacy is being carved in stone at one of the world's most respected universities, let's talk about what's happening back at the palace. Let's talk about Kate. Yes, the Princess of Wales, future Queen Consort, and more recently, the face of one of the greatest PR meltdowns in royal history. You know the one, the infamous Mother's Day photo so badly photoshopped it could have auditioned for a Pixar sequel. That wasn't a family moment, darling. That was digital fiction. We're still trying to work out where the sleeve ends and where the truth begins. Now let's be clear. We're not here to poke at Kate's health. We're not here to mock her struggles. We respect privacy when it's real. But what we will challenge is the obsessive palace machine that insists on controlling every frame, every press release, every pixel of the narrative. That photo wasn't an accident. It was a symptom. a warning sign that behind the carefully manicured facade, the institution is trembling under the weight of its own dishonesty. Now hold that image and let's place it next to Meghan. Meghan, who while pregnant was in pain and said so. Meghan, who said I'm not okay, and instead of compassion was met with venom. She received silence from the firm, betrayal from within, and vitriol from the press. But she didn't buckle. She didn't pretend. She didn't slap on a fake smile for the optics. She showed up in truth, and that is what real strength looks like. Let's not sugarcoat it. In 2025, these two women have come to represent two entirely different paradigms. Kate, groomed and controlled, locked in a palace where every photograph is filtered and every move is pre-scripted. And Meghan? Meghan is raw, real, and relentless. She's been dragged for simply touching her own baby bump for being too visible during her own pregnancy. The same gesture that got Kate called glowing earned Meghan the label attention-seeking. That's not journalism, it's misogynoir. It's institutional hypocrisy. But Meghan didn't fold under that weight. She stood tall. She built Archwell. She told her story on her terms. She wrote children's books. She produced docuseries. She created space for healing, not just for herself, but for others. She walked away from the palace spotlight and into service. Genuine service. Not ribbon cutting for PR, but meaningful global work that doesn't need a royal title to be powerful. And let's not forget the Kate made me cry debacle. For years, Meghan was accused of bullying Kate because the palace allowed that lie to fester. It was repeated in every tabloid, dissected on every breakfast show. But when the truth finally came out, when Meghan told Oprah that Kate made her cry and then apologized, the palace stayed silent. No retraction, no statement, no accountability. Because protecting Kate's image was more important than protecting Meghan's humanity. But even then, Meghan didn't retaliate. She acknowledged the apology. She forgave. And just like that, the woman they tried to paint as petty and unkind revealed more grace in one sentence than the monarchy has shown in a decade. Because Meghan isn't here for revenge. She's here for truth. So when Northwestern University said, "We honor you," that wasn't just a moment of pride. It was a seismic rejection of the lies. It was a challenge to every institution that still believes that silence equals nobility. Because really, silence is not noble when it costs another woman her dignity. Let's be honest, Meghan didn't need to wear a crown to prove her worth. She gave it all up and still made history. Meanwhile, Kate is still stuck inside a gold-plated prison where even a Mother's Day photo can't be posted without being digitally reassembled. That's not elegance, that's captivity. Meghan, she broke the cage, and now her portrait hangs in a place that celebrates intellect, independence, and resilience. Not obedience, not compliance, not fairy tales, real people, real stories. And every student who passes by that wall will see a woman who chose the road less traveled and won. And let's not get it twisted. Meghan didn't win with bitterness. She didn't win with drama. She won with facts, with action, with a grace that doesn't require Photoshop. The world told her, "Know your place," and she said, "I define my place." And that's why the old guard is shaking, because Meghan cannot be molded, cannot be bought, and sure as hell cannot be erased. Now she's etched into history, framed, celebrated, and no Piers Morgan meltdown or shady palace source can undo that. And the symbolism here is undeniable. Meghan was condemned by the same press that sings lullabies to Kate for breathing. Meghan wore nail polish, and it was a scandal. Kate blinked, and they wrote poems. The media never wanted Meghan to thrive, but now they're being forced to watch as the institutions that matter lift her higher than any headline ever could. And as for Kate's latest PR campaign, the one selling strength and resilience, it backfired. Not because people don't wish her well, but because they're exhausted. Exhausted by the performance, by the silence, by the spin. We don't need scripted comebacks anymore. We need truth, and we got that from Meghan. Meghan gave us her pain. She gave us her growth. She gave us her process. She didn't pretend it was easy. She showed us how to survive when everything tries to break you. And that's why she matters. That's why that portrait is so much more than a photo. It's a monument. It's a message. It's a roar of defiance against every system that said she wasn't enough. So stay pressed if you want. Keep spinning your headlines and whispering your lies. But Meghan Sussex is already beyond your reach. And her legacy? It's solid. It's rooted. It's permanent. Let that be the lesson, loud and clear. Because history doesn't remove portraits, it frames them.